Where have you been? How you been? You doing okay? Is everything all right? Yes, everything's fine. Everything's just like as it was last time I saw you. Nothing has changed. Everything has stayed the same. No movement in the SBA, no movement in the Congress or the Senate regarding your EIDL grant, except for one thing that you're going to find very interesting that has an effect on your EIDL grant, which means it's probably still in good shape, then everything will stay the same there as well. Now, we are hearing right now, thanks for watching, everybody, before I get ahead of myself. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button so that when I get information out, you can get information in. The EIDL program, as far as the grants are going right now, the policy map is still in play, and it probably will be in play up until they get rid of it. How are they going to get rid of it? We all know that they are taking the money and they threw it into the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that goes, the Senate threw it in there. Now that goes to the House. Now the House has Nancy Pelosi involved trying to get a $3.5 trillion bill attached to it. And Pelosi says, I'm not going to support the $1.2 trillion bill unless you support my $3.5 trillion bill. Now, the money is in the $1.2 trillion bill, your EIDL grant money. So here's where we go. Here's where I'm going with this. So Pelosi needs the $3.5 trillion bill to support the $1.2 trillion bill, which would make it a $4.7 trillion infrastructure deal. Then it would go back to the Senate, and the Senate would yay or nay. So with Pelosi sending the $3.5 trillion bill to the Senate, she needs all 50 Democrats and just all 50 Democrats to jump on board with this. It's got to be 50-50. If it's a split, she can get this with the vice president's vote. However, there's one Democrat out there. Yeah, Senator Sinema from Arizona says she will not vote on this $3.5 trillion package. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She was hesitant to vote on the $1.2 trillion, she said. Let me show you a piece of this article that I have. And this is Senator Sinema of Arizona, Democrat. She says she will not vote in support of the Democrats' $3.5 trillion infrastructure plan. The plan is considered an important part of Biden's congressional Democrats' agenda leading into 2022 midterm elections. She says, I will support beginning this process, but I do not support a bill that costs $3.5 trillion. Right now, the U.S. House is considering a vote on a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. The Senate passed a bill on August 10th. Sinema has indicated that her opposition to the $3.5 trillion proposal will endure no matter what happens during the House's consideration of the $1.2 trillion bill. She will oppose it. That would put the $3.5 trillion deal dead in the water. Now, we know, I heard today, I was listening to the House and hearing Biden and Pelosi and all those who's who in the political zoos are calling her up, trying to get her on board with this bill. They are trying to move mountains to get her to say, okay. Now, we all remember who was the other senator who was coming against it. It was Senator Joe Manchin. And here's the twist. Joe Manchin also said that he was going to go against this bill as well. And he was going to vote no. It was Senator Joe Manchin. And he was going to vote no. But here's the catch. The senior politicians got together and they worked in $1 billion to go to the bill. And that $1 billion goes to the Appalachian Regional Commission, which is led by Manchin's wife, Gail Manchin. So with that, that's all part of American political swamp politics. So is Sinema, is she going to go ahead and play the same card where, hey, if you take care of me, then I'll take care of you and we'll let this thing slide through? That could happen. However, she says she's going to stick to her guns. And if she sticks to her guns, your EIDL grants are safe where they lay for the time being and probably for a couple more months at least. But that also keeps the policy map in play. So if you're there, if you're in limbo right now because of the policy map, then you'll still be in limbo in a couple more months because of the policy map. So hopefully that helps. And even though things are quiet, and we know that the Senate and Congress has EIDL not on their mind, it's the last thing on the senators' minds or the congressmen and women's minds out there is the EIDL $10,000 grant. They're not thinking about it. But I do want you to know that we are thinking about it. We are not giving up that fight. And there's some new things that have taken place during the last few weeks to give us encouragement regarding the EIDL grants being put back to the forefront as intended in the CARES Act so that you can get that $10,000. We know Jason McElhome's still working on it with everything he's got. I've seen him, he's posting videos left and right still, and he's still fighting for you, as are and as are Robert Dunham and the people that are still behind the scenes fighting for your EIDL grants. And I just want to bring this up real quick because if you all remember, I had a conversation, Robert Dunham and I had a conversation with Angie Craig's office, and we spoke to her staff member who was at the time, Julia Bartusek. Here's the video that we had put out. It was quite a nice chat we had with Julia Bartusek. Now you're saying, why, Speaker, why do we care about Angie Craig's assistant, Julia Bartusek? Well, because right now, Julia Bartusek doesn't work for Angie Craig anymore. And when we called up and found out that she was no longer there, we were like, oh man, darn, did she get fired after the interview? Well, no, she didn't get fired after the interview. She actually got promoted. She's now working as a legislative assistant for the chairman, Ben Cardin, on the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Businesses of Entrepreneurship. She will be writing up Ben Cardin's legislation for the small businesses. And we know that we talked to her, and if you watch the interview that we had with her, we were basically saying, yeah, we're trying to tell you about this EIDL $10,000 grant. And she said, yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I understand what you're saying, that it should go to all small businesses, regardless of size or location. So we have people that are behind the scenes that you don't see out there, and you won't hear their names very often unless it's like from a platform like this. And that another gentleman that was working with Jackie Rosen, Alejandro Renterias, that Dunham has been in contact with as well, was he was a policy advisor for small businesses for tax and small businesses administration and immigration and banking for Jackie Rosen. So he was Jackie Rosen's boy. Well, he's not in Jackie Rosen's office anymore. They inserted him into the SBA as well as the Deputy Associate Administrator for the House. So we have been on target with who we've been targeting. We're also looking at Byron Donalds in Central Florida, who's looking like he might jump on board along with Salazar down in North Miami. So we got a lot of Florida we've got people that you haven't heard of about this SBA. We've been doing this a long time, and we know some people that are working on this and still have small businesses EIDL grant $10,000 as intended in the CARES Act in our interest. So it's not over with. And I just want to continue to say, keep the faith, keep up the fight, and I'm going to keep fighting for you guys. You're my friends, you're my family, and somebody say, hey, I want my 10K.
Give it to me.